The hallway's air was heavy, the hum of fluorescent lights echoing a quiet tension. It looked ordinary, but beneath the surface, anxiety simmered. Behind door 7B lived Arthur, a retired bookkeeper whose world was shrinking. The building, once a haven, now felt hostile. Management had changed. Warmth was replaced by cold indifference. Arthur sensed it in every ignored call and every official envelope slid under his door. Tenants whispered by the mailboxes, sharing stories of neglect and sudden rent hikes. Fear spread. Everyone realized how little power they had. Arthur's fight was lonely, waged with unanswered calls and intimidating letters. The hallway became a symbol of decay, not just of paint and carpet, but of trust. Here, a story began. A man seeking a safe home, and a landlord determined to deny him that right. The silence in the hallway was not peace, but the quiet before a storm. This was the battleground for a struggle that would reach far beyond these walls. And it all started with a simple request for help. It began with a drip, a stain on Arthur's bathroom ceiling. He called management, expecting a quick fix. No one came. The drip grew into a leak, the smell of mold thickened, and Arthur's calls went unanswered. Weeks passed. The problem worsened, but management's silence was louder than the water. Then, instead of a plumber, Arthur received a notice of inspection. The timing was no coincidence. After years of peace, scrutiny arrived only when he complained. The inspection wasn't about repairs. It was about intimidation. Arthur realized his request had made him a target. The leak became a symbol of neglect, and the inspection a warning. Mold spread, Arthur's asthma worsened, and sleep became elusive. He was no longer a resident, but a problem to be managed. The landlord's message was clear. Your comfort is not our concern. Arthur's health declined, but the management's focus was on control, not care. A simple repair had become a battle for dignity. The drip was relentless, echoing the indifference that threatened to drown him. Arthur's fight for a safe home had only just begun. The inspection was just the start. Management's representatives scrutinized Arthur's home, searching for faults. Soon, official warnings arrived about clutter, hallway rules, anything they could find. The campaign was psychological warfare, isolating Arthur from his neighbors. Rules were enforced only for him, fines and calls became routine. Arthur felt watched, shamed, and alone. His health suffered, breathing grew difficult, anxiety soared. The landlord's goal was clear: make life unbearable until Arthur left. The pressure was constant, the intent unmistakable. Arthur's home became a prison, his every move monitored. The real issue, the leak, remained ignored. The landlord's strategy was to break his spirit, not just his lease. The landlord's final move was a no-fault eviction. The law allowed them to end Arthur's tenancy without reason. Just a notice, 30 days to leave. It was retaliation disguised as routine. Arthur, a senior on a fixed income, faced the loss of his home for daring to ask for repairs. The notice didn't mention the leak or mold. It didn't have to. The law protected the landlord, not the tenant. Arthur knew the eviction was punishment, but proving it was nearly impossible. The loophole exposed the power imbalance. Tenants risked homelessness for reporting hazards. Fear kept others silent. Arthur's courage made him a target. The system enabled injustice, leaving renters vulnerable. For Arthur, the law's indifference was a nightmare. He was forced to choose between unsafe living conditions and losing his home. The fight was no longer just about repairs, it was about survival. Arthur refused to give up. With help from legal aid, he challenged the eviction, arguing it was retaliation. The case dragged on, the mold spread, and Arthur's health collapsed. His sanctuary became toxic. Breathing was a struggle, anxiety constant. The landlord showed no mercy, pursuing eviction relentlessly. Arthur's friends watched him fade, worn down by stress and illness. One winter morning, Arthur was found dead, an asthma attack worsened by mold. The coroner confirmed what everyone feared. The leak had killed him. Arthur's fight for his home ended in tragedy. He won the right to stay, but lost his life in the process. His story was no longer just about one man. It was a warning. The cost of silence and the price of speaking up had never been clearer. Arthur's death ignited outrage. The local paper's headline, "He died fighting for a safe home," captured the city's attention. Details of his ordeal spread: ignored repairs, harassment, fatal mold. Tenant groups rallied, demanding change. Protests erupted at City Hall. The phrase "revenge eviction" entered the public debate. Media coverage grew, politicians took notice, and the landlord's cold response fueled anger. Lawmakers could no longer ignore the crisis. Arthur's tragedy became a catalyst for reform. The debate shifted from denial to action. His suffering united renters, advocates, and lawmakers. A movement for housing justice was born from his loss. The pressure led to real change. Lawmakers passed a new law banning retaliatory evictions. Now, if a landlord tried to evict a tenant after a repair request, the law presumed retaliation. The burden shifted. Landlords had to prove a valid reason. Tenants gained protection and power to demand safe homes. Arthur's story became a lesson in law schools and tenant trainings. His case is a permanent reminder: legal loopholes have real consequences. The law now shields millions, ensuring tenants can speak up without fear. Arthur's quiet fight left a profound legacy. A simple request for a repair changed the law. His voice, once silenced, now protects countless others.